Top 10 female weaknesses each man must know. All right, folks, welcome back. Let's talk about something that's really important for relationships, and that's understanding the women in our lives. I'm not talking about some alpha male, how to manipulate women kind of stuff. That's BS. This is about genuine empathy and understanding. We're going to dive into what some might call female weaknesses, but really, it's about recognizing the pressures and expectations that society often places on women. Just like men have their own set of societal pressures, women do too, and these can manifest in ways we might not immediately understand. This isn't about putting women down. It's about opening our eyes to their reality so we can build stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling relationships. This is about leveling up, folks. Emotional sensitivity, strength or weakness. One of the things we often hear about women is that they're too emotional. Now, I'm not saying that to be dismissive. Emotions are powerful, man. They're what make us human. But for women, societal expectations can sometimes amplify these emotions. Think about it. From a young age, girls are often encouraged to be more emotionally expressive than boys. They're told it's okay to cry, to be vulnerable, and that's great. But it can also lead to situations where women feel pressure to suppress their anger or assertiveness because it's not seen as feminine. And here's the thing, emotions are complex. Just because someone is more in touch with their feelings doesn't mean they're weaker. In fact, it often means they're more empathetic, more compassionate. And those are qualities we need more of in the world, wouldn't you say? So, instead of judging a woman for being emotional, try to understand where she's coming from. Listen to her, validate her feelings, and be there for her. Remember, a little empathy goes a long way. The weight of societal expectations. Societal expectations on women are intense. From birth, girls face pressure on how to look, act, and feel. Magazines, movies, and ads push impossible beauty standards. It's not just looks. Women must be nurturing and selfless. These expectations create immense pressure. Constant judgment can be damaging. Let's challenge these expectations and celebrate women for who they are. Career versus family, an impossible choice. Women face the challenge of choosing between a successful career and a family. It's like they're being pulled in two different directions. Women are told they can achieve anything. They can be CEOs, doctors, astronauts, and that's true. But there's still an expectation that women are the primary caregivers. The system isn't set up to support women who want both. We need to create a world where women don't have to choose. A world where they can have it all if that's what they want. Chapter 4, the pressure cooker of physical appearance. Let's talk about the pressure on women to look a certain way. I mean, it's relentless. Everywhere they turn, they're bombarded with images of perfect bodies, airbrushed, photoshopped, and completely unattainable. And it's not just about being thin either. It's about having the right curves, the right hair, the right clothes, the right everything. It's this constant pressure to conform to an impossible standard of beauty. And let's be real, this pressure starts young. Girls are sexualized at a young age, bombarded with messages about their appearance. They're taught that their worth is tied to their looks. And that's just messed up, man. This obsession with physical appearance can be incredibly damaging. It can lead to body image issues, eating disorders, and a whole host of other problems. It's time we start valuing women for who they are on the inside, not for how they look on the outside. Chapter 5, the struggle for self-esteem and confidence. Many women struggle with self-esteem and confidence due to constant messages of inadequacy. They're told they're not good enough repeatedly. The pressure to be thin, beautiful, and successful is overwhelming. Constant criticism makes it easy to believe they're not enough. This lack of confidence shows in various ways. Some become overly self-critical, others avoid challenges, fearing failure. Some overcompensate by being overly competitive. These struggles are real and rooted in societal expectations. Instead of judging, let's understand and support them. Remind them of their incredible worth. Chapter 6, the unspoken burden of emotional labor. Have you ever heard of the term emotional labor? It's the often invisible work that goes into managing emotions and maintaining relationships. And let's be honest, it's often women who end up carrying the brunt of this labor. Think about it. Women are often expected to be the ones who remember birthdays, plan social events, and make sure everyone is feeling happy and cared for. They're the ones who are supposed to smooth over conflicts, offer emotional support, and generally keep the peace. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with any of these tasks, but when they fall disproportionately on women, it can become incredibly draining. It's like they're constantly on call, expected to be on emotionally all the time. This emotional labor can take a toll. It can lead to burnout, resentment, and a whole lot of stress. So how can we lighten the load? By recognizing the work that goes into emotional labor and by making sure it's being shared equally in relationships. Let's talk about something that often gets dismissed or joked about: hormonal changes. Now, I'm not saying that every mood swing is because of hormones, but they do play a significant role in a woman's physical and emotional well-being. We're talking about everything from menstruation to pregnancy to menopause. These are major biological processes that can have a huge impact on a woman's energy levels, mood, and overall sense of self. And here's the thing, these changes aren't always easy to deal with. Imagine having cramps so bad you can barely move, or experiencing hot flashes that leave you drenched in sweat. And let's not even get started on the emotional roller coaster that can come with these hormonal shifts. Instead of dismissing these experiences as women's problems, let's try to be more understanding. Let's educate ourselves about what women go through and offer support when they need it. Chapter 8. Breaking free from gender role conformity. We live in a society that's obsessed with putting people into boxes, and nowhere is this more evident than with gender roles. From the moment we're born, we're told what it means to be a boy or a girl. Boys wear blue, girls wear pink, boys play with trucks, girls play with dolls, and while these might seem like harmless stereotypes, they can have a profound impact on how we see ourselves and how we interact with the world. For women, these rigid gender roles can be incredibly limiting. Think about it. Women are often told they need to be soft, submissive, and agreeable. They're discouraged from being assertive, ambitious, or independent. And when they do step outside these narrow boxes, they're often labeled as bossy, aggressive, or unfeminine. It's time we break free from these outdated gender roles and allow women to be who they truly are without judgment or limitations. Chapter 9. Navigating the male-dominated landscape. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fact that many industries are still dominated by men. Now, this isn't to say that there aren't incredible women breaking down barriers and achieving amazing things. There are. But the reality is, women still face significant challenges in many fields. We're talking about everything from the gender pay gap to the lack of female representation in leadership positions. And let's not forget about the subtle and not so subtle sexism that many women encounter on a daily basis. Imagine being the only woman in a room full of men, constantly having to prove your worth and fight for your voice to be heard. It can be exhausting and demoralizing. We need to create a more level playing field, a world where women are given the same opportunities and respect as their male counterparts. Chapter 10. Unpacking the impact of history and culture. It's impossible to talk about the challenges women face without acknowledging the historical and cultural context. For centuries, women have been treated as second-class citizens, denied basic rights and opportunities. We're talking about everything from being denied the right to vote to being treated as property of their husbands. And while we've made significant progress, the legacy of this oppression is still felt today. Think about the cultural norms and expectations that are passed down from generation to generation. These deeply ingrained beliefs about gender roles and women's place in society can be incredibly difficult to challenge. But challenge them, we must. It's time to rewrite the narrative to create a future where women are valued, respected, and empowered to reach their full potential. Outro: building bridges of understanding. So there you have it, folks. 10 things to consider when it comes to understanding the women in our lives. Remember, this isn't about putting women down or perpetuating stereotypes. It's about opening our eyes to the unique challenges they face and using that knowledge to build stronger, healthier relationships. This is about fostering empathy, compassion, and understanding. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together and that by supporting and uplifting each other, we can create a better world for everyone. Let's use this information to spark conversations, challenge our own biases, and build bridges of understanding.